Buckle up, everybody, because there's yet another reusable water bottle that everybody is collecting, and this time it is more colorful than ever. Why is this happening? Good question. Let's get into it. This video is sponsored by Ground News. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. We've made water bottle videos before. You're right. We've done the Stanley, we did Hydro Flask and Yeti, and honestly, we debated about making this video because at the rate that these bottles are coming out, there'll probably be a different one by the time this thing goes live. The worst part is we're not even joking. Owala already hit its peak on Google Trends, just like the Stanley did a while back. And the problem is, these bottles and the trends that they're a part of, it's just the same stuff in a slightly different form factor or a slightly different color scheme, repackaged all over again. Except I would say confidently that Owala is the worst one yet. So if you watched our other videos on water bottles and you retained absolutely nothing, or you just aren't familiar at all with the trend that we're talking about, we're gonna give you a little up to speed with our why reusable bottles are kinda stupid actually segment. Over the years, water bottles have become the latest form of fast fashion. This is a whole new accessory category with the brand and the color of bottle that you carry around with you as a standing symbol of what you want people to know about you. That you are outdoorsy, that you are rugged or trendy. This stands in pretty stark contrast to the original purpose of these bottles, which was as a way to replace plastic water bottles. And as many of you know, it is not just a fun little thing anymore. People are scrambling over one another to buy the latest bottle that is popular and collecting these things like they might not be going out of fashion in a year's time. We honestly didn't think that it could get any crazier after the Stanley tumbler craze. And honestly, Owala is a chill phenomenon in comparison, but this bottle has just leapt off from where Stanley started. And it's just so weird. If you watched our Stanley episode, you know that their tumbler was kind of a random explosion of popularity for a product that wasn't exactly made for its key demographic. A happy mistake, in other words. Owala, on the other hand, was a company born for the sole purpose of selling trendy bottles to people who just want whatever is cool right now. And that means it's just the worst version of this trend so far. Their bottles cost between $28 and $40 American, which is on the cheaper side of the bottle spectrum, being just a touch cheaper than the Stanleys of last week, which makes it seem like they're targeting a slightly different demographic, people who are less concerned with the metrics and moral implications of their water bottles. Because as we talked about in our Hydro Flask video, there was a huge phase where these water bottles were competing for the best insulation metrics, the most robust lifetime guarantees, and the least environmental impact per bottle. But things have changed. Owala knows now that a lot of people don't really care about that stuff anymore. So they have focused on novelty features that give more of an ooh factor for shoppers. So we found out that Trove Brands is the parent company for Owala, and their entire portfolio seems to be bottles that are kind of trendy in some kind of way. All their bottles have some sort of cool, noticeable design element that sets them apart from a standard bottle. They have the shaker bottle, which is for gym people, and it has that little shaker ball thing inside. Whiskware, which is like a stackable bottle for kids. And then they have Avana, which as far as I can tell is just the black and white version of the Owala lineup. The Avana and the Owala lineup, beyond having almost exactly the same name, seem to be defined by the same patented technology, which they call free sip, which is basically a straw and an open mouthpiece hole at the same time. This is so that you can sip if you want, but you can also guzzle. And this is actually the word that they used on their website. This, and the fact that they come in a whole bunch of different colors, seems to be the entirety of their contributions to the water bottle industry. And while it might seem trivial, it actually makes a lot of sense. So if you look at reviews for these things online, you'll find that one of the most common things that are mentioned is the colors that you can get your bottle in. Colorful designs is not a new strategy for the water bottle world, of course, but Owala has just taken it to a whole other level. Hydro Flask definitely definitely popularized the super colorful bottles, and Stanley was famous for their limited release that had people storming Targets across the US. But Owala has built their entire brand strategy around what they call colorways and the next look that they have yet to release. As of recording this video, they're pushing their subdued hues, which is in contrast to their more eccentric, colorful lineups that they are known for. But listen, this is way more than just a couple of cool color combos. They have dozens of color options for each bottle and new hues coming out literally all the time. They have a color drop tab on their website where you can be notified when a color is newly available. A lot of these drops are seasonal, like this Halloween themed bottle, or released in collaboration with some other brand, in this case, Dutch Bros, for some reason. They've also done limited releases with Disney and Marvel and a bunch of others just to get people to buy their bottle again and again and again. The desire for new Owala colors has people swapping out lids in stores because the actual product doesn't do exactly what they want it to do. Coincidentally, Owala has decided to put their reusable water bottles into single-use plastic bags specifically to stop this trend from getting further out of control.
Huh?
This just seems like classic scarcity marketing, right? But Owala's whole brand image is centered around these colors. And if you think about it, there's actually a pretty obvious reason why. It costs money to improve a design or add a feature. It costs even more money to release a new bottle or product, but it costs basically nothing to release the same bottle in an infinite number of colors. It's kind of the only way to sell water bottles after somebody has already bought one from you. But listen, a couple of cool colors is not enough to get people to buy multiple bottles from you if the bottles themselves just suck, right?
Right?
Apparently not. It turns out that these bottles also suck. The free sip straw technology is kind of a cool feature, sure, but it sadly means that the Owalas are very difficult to clean and apparently get moldy very easily. Although, if you're the kind of person who is buying a water bottle impulsively because they released a color that you like, this may be user error, but this is just one example. As we have mentioned, these bottles come in a variety of really cool colors. It's kind of the whole point of these things. But the problem is that you see every single scrape and scuff that gets on them. And listen, I've had this Clean Canteen bottle for 3 years now, and I have not been kind to it. And yeah, look, there's a couple of dents. It's held up remarkably well for the 3 years of abuse. Also, if you want to get yourself a Make Coffee at Home sticker or a Costco Whole Wallet sticker, you can buy those from us through the link down in the description. But there is a bigger issue here that makes me think that Owala bottles might be legitimately badly made. One reoccurring issue with the Owalas is that the bottom of the bottles dent. So what do? They don't reinforce the bottom or redesign the bottle to prevent this issue. They turn a negative for the consumer into a positive for their bottom line, and it's brilliant. Owala is out here selling bottle bottom booties that go on the end of your bottle to protect them. These little bottle boots, which are not included with the bottle of course, prevent any potential damage from you placing it down too hard. And to be clear, this might not have even been their idea because Hydro Flask is in on the booty train too, which sounds weird. Thankfully for Owala owners, and perhaps predictably, these bottle boots come in a variety of colors so that you can buy multiple of them to add extra personality and individuality to your bottle. And when you look at the trajectory of the water bottle phenomenon, it's honestly sad to see how it's devolved. These were functional bottles that made our impact on the planet smaller and made drinking water on the go more enjoyable. And today, we're stuck with Owala. But look, I understand that maybe some of you are saying, Levi, this isn't the kind of cutting edge journalism that the world needs right now. You should be talking about stuff that actually matters. But you can do that by staying truly informed about the issues that matter the most through Ground News. They're an app and a website that allows you to keep up with all of the latest things that are happening in your favorite categories in one place. We keep working with them because we genuinely love their platform and we think that you will too. So feel free to check them out at ground.news/futureproof. Let's say instead of learning about some goofy water bottle that was trendy yesterday, you want to see what's actually in the current news situation about water in general. Well, Ground News has got you covered with over 100 stories in the last 3 months on the subject. Each of these stories features multiple articles from all ends of the political spectrum, and you can also tell who they're backed by and what their level of factuality is, which is very important today. One truly amazing feature is their blind spot feed, which shows you what the left and the right are and are not focusing on. Here, you get easy access to the other side's news reality to see the full picture of what's going on. It also means that you won't miss anything if you gravitate to one end of the spectrum or the other. We love Ground News because they encourage you to make informed decisions by sharpening your critical thinking skills, which is basically what we do here on this channel. So I encourage you to dive right in by going to ground.news/futureproof, or you can just scan this QR code to get started. You can join for less than $1 a month, or use our link in the description to get 40% off their unlimited access Vantage plan, which is what we use. Thanks again to Ground News for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. So these bottles are the next popular thing. There's people with full-blown collections out here, and I have one more question that I need to answer before I retire this subject from the channel forever, hopefully. Why? Well, here are my final findings. My theory is that the Owala brand was designed to appeal to people who don't identify with the ideological values that the water bottle trend had previously platformed. Water bottles used to be a symbol of your aspirational self. It was a social signal to others that you cared about the planet, that you were healthy, or that you had some money to spend. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of problems with that too, but the reality today is that a lot of people just want to be fashionable, and Owala knows that. And so the Owala brand identity just has to be exciting and professional looking, but generic enough to not raise any questions. And their marketing and overall brand vibe, if I can even say that seriously, is just cringy as hell. Their whole website and Instagram feels like a page created by some kind of AI prompted to create a fun and engaging online presence for a water bottle company. This line just baffles me. Water bottles, designed exclusively for people who drink water. Like, what even is that, dude? They just make a lot of cool sounding proclamations that are just entirely hollow, like this one. We're a motley crew of dreamers and designers who live by a simple creed: do more of what you love. Guys, you sell water bottles. Like, what are we talking about? They also have this Time Magazine Best Invention of 2023 award featured throughout their website too, which immediately felt sus. Turns out that they were just one of 200 picks, and when you get to the page on the Times website, there's this disclaimer that Time Magazine will make a commission off of any sales made through the link that's conveniently provided at the bottom of the single paragraph write-up. That feels more like a paid ad than a flex to me. But it looks good on their website. And this whole thing just feels so sketchy. And it's sad that all a company needs to do nowadays is say that they're obsessed with making products that people absolutely love, and people will buy it. Hopefully that is the last water bottle video that we need to make here on this channel. Subscribe if you want to see other videos. If you want to see more water bottle videos, I can't guarantee anything, but I appreciate you being here either way. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.